Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. So recently I was really interested to find out if the Captivz Mega Surprise Eggs were all the same figure. It felt like the only figure that was in that egg was the mechanical arm Baryonyx. Well, I recently had contacted my good buddy Chris Raymond Dyer from Australia to kind of inquire about this because he's very familiar with the Captivz line being from Australia. That's where they originate from. And he had directed me to an unboxing video on his YouTube channel where he opened one of these Mega Surprise Eggs, which included the Pyroraptor we see here, the Amber Pyroraptor. So I went ahead and purchased 2 more eggs from my local Big Lots because these are appearing at Big Lots. And as it turns out, that's exactly the case. If you find the egg that has the Pyroraptor, you actually are able to acquire the Dimetrodon and Quetzalcoatlus in that same egg, and I was really psyched about that because I was looking everywhere for these figures. I really wanted them, specifically the Dimetrodon, I think more than anything, and again, they're in this egg, so if you happen to have a Big Lots near you, I would say check that Big Lots out and grab yourself that egg so that, or, you know, hopefully you get this egg, because again, I also purchased 2 of these eggs, and the other egg actually had the mechanical arm Baryonyx, so now I have 2 of that figure. But this egg here did actually have these guys, and I was a little confused. I actually made a post and everything on my Instagram account because when I had opened this, I only had seen this one, and then there were 2 normal eggs included in the set like you usually find in these eggs, and I assumed they were just more of wave 1, and maybe that these were like all exclusives to the eggs, so you had to buy different eggs to get the Dimetrodon, different egg to get the Quetzalcoatlus, and then I went and rewatched his video and realized that what he was unboxing was only 1 egg, went back, checked my egg, and sure enough, in the other 2 normal eggs in that egg right here, the smaller normal sized eggs, were the Dimetrodon and Quetzalcoatlus. But I wanted to review this, even though I'm not really going to unbox it or anything because it's already opened, and show off the fact that you can get these figures, kind of give you a review of the figures contained within, which is a Pyroraptor, a Quetzalcoatlus, and a Dimetrodon. But in the actual egg, of course, what else you would get is, of course, the fact that you have the Amber Pyroraptor. You can see the little tokens that we have for them. There is the Quetzalcoatlus token, and then I just dropped the Dimetrodon. So you've also got a Dimetrodon token as well. So, of course, you have that going on for the egg, but then also included in the egg, you have the map, like you usually have, that kind of, coincides with the game that you can play with your Captivz figures. Definitely a really cool map showing off different areas of dinosaur sightings and stuff. Very Jurassic World Dominion-ish would be that map. And you also get stickers. Now, it seems like the stickers are exactly the same, although in this one I actually got 2 sets of stickers, whereas you normally get 1 in the other egg. I don't know if this was just like a freak situation where I got 2 by accident or what, but you can see again the stickers are all very cool Jurassic World Dominion with many different species included on here, so some awesome stickers in this set as well. And then you of course have the little carrying case that is included, and this is actually where you'll find your Amber Pyroraptor, which of course opens up and you can store your figure included in this, or store whatever you want in there really. And then you also have the booklet, again showing off the different figures that are in the line, and this is where you can instantly see the different figures that we have, which would be the Dimetrodon, the Quetzalcoatlus, the Amber Pyroraptor, the Baryonyx with the mechanical arm, as well as a metallic green Spinosaurus, and it shows you where you can find those figures. The figures that we have here I actually have all of, but the Spinosaurus, the metallic green Spinosaurus, was one from a previous wave, whereas now it states you can get it in the Ultimate Collector Pack. And you can see on the bottom, it basically tells you where you would find these figures. Like we have the Mega Egg for those guys, and then for this one, it's the Collector Case for that Therizinosaurus. And then you have the instructions on how to play the game. And then here on the back, you have the mainline minis, the mainline Captivz figures, and basically a checklist to help you acquire all of them. And then we also have another one of these dice, but we also have a Zoom Rider, and this time we have the Zoom Rider Pyroraptor, which is super cool. But also at Big Lots, you can actually buy the 3 packs of these Zoom Riders, so you don't have to rely on getting them from these eggs. You can purchase the Zoom Riders themselves if you are interested. And seems like not everybody's Big Lots has this stuff, but my Big Lots definitely does, so I would imagine, a lot of them should, so make sure you check your local Big Lots, maybe you can pick them up. But that Pyroraptor Zoom Rider is super cool looking, really nicely done. Definitely need to get my hands on the regular mainline Captivz Pyroraptor that actually includes the paintwork like this, whereas so far I have the metallic reddish version and now the amber version. We're working our way toward the regular version, hopefully soon, but again, the zoom riders are really neat, and that's really about it as far as what's in there. You can see there's nothing else, so let's go ahead and jump straight to a closer look at the 3 new Captivz included in this egg. So the Pyroraptor itself is definitely the same sculpt that we've had previously as far as that kind of metallic, boy, I really didn't want to focus, there we go, the metallic Pyroraptor. We do have a previously released really cool red version, like a red metallic version. This time around we have a really nice amber type version, and you can see again just how beautiful the actual sculpt and detail of the Pyroraptor is. Potentially, and most likely I would say, the most screen accurate version of the Pyroraptor released from anybody that I can think of right now, because you've got that really nice plumage all through the course of the arm, and just again a lot of life and realism to the Pyroraptor sculpt, but this time again we just basically have the amber type of a look, so you can see how beautiful the detail is, but you don't get that realistic lifelike paint. But as far as like an amber type version goes, like what better way to say Jurassic World Dominion than a really cool amber version of the Pyroraptor? And you can see again that it has the kind of like a translucency to it, which is pretty neat, and different shades of that amber type of a look, like you can see yellowish and orangish shades throughout. So definitely a really neat kind of a special figure, like a limited figure, I guess, that's included in here. I really like the amber look for this. Once I saw this on his video, I was like, wow, I really want that Pyroraptor, because it's just so neat looking, and again fits the theme of Jurassic World Dominion as far as that amber type of a look, like you see on the Jurassic World Dominion logo, of course, perfectly. So definitely an awesome figure with an incredibly highly detailed sculpt. And then we've got ourselves the Quetzalcoatlus, and this thing is really nice. As far as like a Jurassic World Dominion style Quetzalcoatlus goes, this thing is phenomenal. You can see that we have our Quetzalcoatlus in a standing position. It's not flying or anything like you see on the Pteranodon that they've released in the past. This one's standing, similar to the Dimetrodon, and you can see the head sculpt looks really nice. You've got some beautiful, very fine detail throughout the beak, and some really nice coloration, as well as you have some beautiful yellowish tones for the beak, but you also have like a dry brushing of a darker coloration over the beak, kind of giving it a dirty type of a look, which adds a nice element of realism. You can see the tongue there on the inside of the mouth. The tongue is actually painted, which is nice to see. The beak looks great, honestly, from everywhere. You've got that nice blue up there on the crest, and the very nice fine detail of the face and crest area looks really good. You can also see that we transition to a grayish tone of color with a very nice light dry brushing, like a really light gray dry brushing. You also have yellow for the eye, and then a black pupil. I don't know if the yellow is meant to be the eye color, or if that's just some more extra added color around the eye, and then the black pupil would just be the color of the eye. Not positive on that, but it still looks really good regardless. And then as you start to move back here into the neck of our Quetzalcoatlus, you can see some more of the really nice detail. And again, they've brought the detail out beautifully with that dry brushing, really making the sculpt pop on this Quetzalcoatlus. And as far as like a minifigure version of a Quetzalcoatlus from Jurassic World goes, like, that is phenomenal. As you move down the course of the body, you can see again some more of the really nice pycnofibering along the back of the neck. As you move down, you could see basically like muscle definition, structure, all the stuff that you would expect to see through the course of this Quetzalcoatlus. It is perfectly present on the figure. You have a nice light, kind of almost like a pinkish tone for the inside here of the wings, the skin of the wings. And then you have like some black that's kind of just like sort of weirdly painted on. It doesn't look too natural. That definitely looks like just paint slopped on the figure, whereas the rest of the body, I think, as far as the sculpt and of course the paintwork, looks really quite nice and natural. And it does unfortunately do the same thing here for the underside, so I'm not a huge fan of the way that they've painted that area. It almost looks like they took like a Sharpie and just kind of colored it. So that is a little bit of a downside for the Quetzalcoatlus paint job. But outside of that, again, I think everything looks great on it. The sculpt is really well done. I would love to get another of these just to kind of give it my own version of a repaint. But again, really nice looking version of a Quetzalcoatlus from Jurassic World Dominion. And again, being a minifigure, this is crazy impressive. But the most impressive figure, I think, out of all of these would be the Dimetrodon, because the Dimetrodon here looks so nice as far as what it looked like in Dominion. Like, they really captured this one beautifully. So you can see as far as the head sculpt goes, like that head sculpt looks pretty much exactly as I can recall the Dimetrodon head sculpt looking in Dominion when they were attacking Alan and Ellie and Maisie in the caves. It pretty much looks exactly the same. You can see the mouth is in an open position because they were very aggressive in that cave, so that's a nice touch for the figure. You can see we have some nice light, kind of like pinkish tones on the inside of the mouth. You can also see the teeth are painted on the inside of the mouth, although the teeth are kind of like not really that nicely sculpted. I think that's probably the biggest downside. Well, actually, you can see the teeth are fairly, well, if it would focus on it, but you can see the teeth there on the opposing side. You can kind of make out the teeth themselves, but the paint is kind of applied in like a really strong way where it almost annihilates any chance of seeing the teeth individually. So I think that's something that maybe like individual painting of each tooth would probably benefit, and being a mass-produced figure with such a small mouth, I don't really expect that. Maybe something that I could do to touch it up, but I like to keep my figures original. But you can see that we have some nice brown here for the face, and you can also see that we have a really nice dark wash that's applied, and that's pretty much the way it looks through the entire figure as far as the coloration and paintwork goes. Like it's a mixture of that nice lighter brown with that darker brown applied in a wash-like fashion, really highlighting all of the detail quite beautifully. You can see the eyes are painted with a black, kind of have a glossy look to them as well. Nice skin wrinkles and skin folds and stuff here in the throat. And you can also see that our Dimetrodon is coated with osteoderms. You have some nice skin texture there in the stomach region as well. Nice looking foot sculpts for our Dimetrodon. You do have a nice curve in the tail out here at the end. Really, really strong curve, honestly. Maybe a little bit too curved, but it looks okay. And again, it follows that same type of paintwork with the wash and the light brown. But up here on the sail, which the sail looks really nice, you do have some super smooth stripes through the sail of a darker coloration. And we have a red for the primary color of the sail. Again, very reminiscent, I would say, to the Jurassic World Dominion version. And you can also see over here, again, it looks great. Absolutely the best version of a Dominion Dimetrodon that I have seen so far. When it comes to not only the sculpt, but the paintwork, like the paintwork is super nicely done. And you can even see the detailing here on the underside is phenomenal. Look at the way that that dark wash kind of crawls in and out of all of the cracks and crevices in the skin of the Dimetrodon. And then, of course, you have that Jurassic logo there on the underside. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful figure. And I love how smooth those stripes are. They could easily look like paint on a figure, but in my opinion they don't. They look like body color, skin color, which is also a huge plus for the Dimetrodon. So I honestly might say that this is my favorite Captivz so far. Out of all of the different lines, this one here might be my favorite figure out of all of them up until this point. This is just an awesome Dimetrodon. As per usual with your Captivz, they're kind of put together with that pop and lock feature, which sort of allows articulation. So for the Quetzalcoatlus, you can move the neck, though it looks the most natural as far as the way that the, joints and everything line up in that position right there. But you can still move the neck. That's the only area you can move on the Quetzalcoatlus. The Pyroraptor, you do have the ability to move the neck as well as the tail, so you have a little bit extra with that one. And then the Dimetrodon only has the tail. That's it. You just can move the tail, which isn't really that great. But again, it's not really meant to be articulation, but you can just use it as articulation in a way. As far as the size goes, we're of course not going to measure them. We'll just hold the tape over. There's a few here that are all right there in the same size range as your normal Captivz figures. And at this point, we are so many waves into the Captivz line, and even into the Dominion line. Now we've looked at so many different Captivz figures that by now you probably have a pretty good idea as far as what the size is. If not, of course we can give you a size comparison. So there's Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our Captivz Jurassic World Dominion figures. And you can see that they are very small, but when you look at them in comparison to other figures like the Colovosaurus and Robert Muldoon, you can, I think, have an entire newfound respect for how good these figures are. Again, with the amount of sculpt detail and paintwork that's in these, looking at them next to these other figures, I think shows how impressive they truly are. And then for one more comparison, here are a few of the Mattel minis next to the Captivz, again showing you that they are very similar in size, maybe a little bit bigger than the Therizinosaurus, but fairly similar in size, especially I think when it comes to the older Mattel minis. But again, way better than the Mattel minis as far as the sculpt and paintwork aspect goes. So this Mega Surprise Egg was definitely another really cool touch and another cool release from Toymonster International. But what I like about it is this time around, like previously with the Mechanical Arm Baryonyx version, we basically in the eggs had figures from that wave of figures. So it was like that really cool exclusive with the Baryonyx, but then the rest were just kind of like, okay, cool, we got some other dinosaurs from wave one. Whereas this time, neither of the figures in the actual normal eggs were dinosaurs. We have a pterosaur and a Dimetrodon, neither of which are dinosaurs, but neither of these are in the main line, and I think both of these are exclusive to that egg. So this time around, we got 3 exclusive figures to the Mega Surprise Egg, which I think is really cool. And again, like I said earlier, a nice touch to this egg. Something that I hope they do in the future when it comes to these Mega Surprise Eggs. If you're going to make this Mega Surprise Egg, just include all exclusive figures in that egg. So it's a little bit easier for us to get some really cool stuff without having to go crazy searching everywhere for it. Of course, the egg includes all of your normal stuff that you get in those surprise eggs, like the stuff we saw earlier with the map stickers, the Zoom Writer, and all of that stuff. But the stuff that I'm most excited about when it comes to these sets are the actual Captivz dinosaur figures. And, well, one dinosaur, and then the other two, again, like I said, aren't dinosaurs. But the Pyroraptor with the amber look is so cool. I absolutely love that. And I don't know how it's been this long into the Captivz line and they haven't thought about releasing a figure earlier that had that amber type of a look, and it looks so good on this Pyroraptor. Like, they absolutely knocked that figure out of the park, and now is 2 versions of the Pyroraptor in my collection, which hopefully the third will be the actual painted up version to look like the movie version. But again, a gorgeous sculpt and a really cool look for the coloration. And then you have the Quetzalcoatlus, which is also a really cool figure that I couldn't wait to get my hands on, but I thought that was going to be released in a future wave of the normal Captivz. I was so happy to see that it was included in this set, and it looks really nice. The sculpt, again, is phenomenal, looking pretty much exactly like the Jurassic World Dominion version, which Captivz are always really good at creating screen-accurate type figures, and they definitely achieved that with the Quetzalcoatlus, in my opinion. At least as screen accurate as you can get for a minifigure like this. And they did a good job of recreating the color scheme of the Quetzalcoatlus from Dominion as well. I think the show stealer here would be the Dimetrodon, but this Quetzalcoatlus is a very close second, and I love the fact that it's in a standing position and actually stands pretty nicely. It does fall over here and there, but for the most part it stands pretty nicely. And then you have the Dimetrodon, which, like I said, is the main event, main attraction for this egg in my opinion, because I'm a huge fan of Dimetrodon, and when it comes to a screen-accurate version of a Dimetrodon, this is definitely the best one that I've seen so far. The sculpt is beautiful, perfectly capturing the likeness of the Dimetrodon from Jurassic World Dominion, and the paint job as well is incredibly well done. Toymonster International always does such a phenomenal job of applying really realistic versions of paint applications on their figures. For being such small little minis, it amazes me how lifelike and realistic the paint jobs are on these figures, and this Dimetrodon honestly is top of the line. The only thing that could have been improved on this figure would have maybe been painted nails, but the teeth, like the teeth are a little bit sloppy as far as the paintwork goes. It's just a little bit too intense as far as the application of the paint. But outside of that area, this Dimetrodon is just drop dead gorgeous. So if you are interested in picking this egg up, make sure you head to your local Big Lots, or I will actually include a link in the description to the Big Lots website where they are selling these eggs on there as well. And make sure you grab yourself this egg, or at least a couple eggs potentially, so that you can get this egg for sure, but also the Mechanical Arm Baryonyx if you don't have that one. Again, they're surprise eggs, so you have to hope you get them. But if you haven't purchased any yet, at the very least, you're going to get something new regardless. So make sure you check the link in the description, grab yourself one or more of these really cool eggs, and hopefully you'll be able to get all of these. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.